New leaked audio shows what went on during the confrontation. Teofimo Lopez and Terence Crawford, they got into it during the Canelo, you want, the Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga fight week in Vegas. And I just seen a video from ES News. Shout out to them. I'll put the link in the description. Check out the video. But it was the best quality version of the video that most of us had seen from the feud or whatever altercation between Teofimo and Terence Crawford. And the mic, you could pick up some of what the initial video looked like a cell phone video, so they weren't mic'd up. The onboard iPhone microphone really couldn't pick up what was being said, so you just seen the mannerisms and can kind of tell what's going on. But this was much better. And in this video, you see this altercation where it appears Terence Crawford says something to Teofimo, then he looks away from Teofimo and he's talking for a minute to somebody else while Teofimo's kind of idly sitting there. Then Terence Crawford turns his attention back on Teofimo and they're exchanging some words. Again, it's not perfect. You can't hear everything, but it gets to a point where Terence Crawford aggressively is pointing and pushing his finger towards Teofimo's face. And he's like, yo, fight me outside. Like, basically, see me right now or see me in the streets. Let's have a street fight, so to speak, right? To Teofimo. And Teofimo's like, what? Nah. And he says, fight me. Basically, fight me in the ring. You don't want the world to see me beat you in a boxing ring. And then it looked like Terence Crawford kind of walked up and walked off. So that was the extent, but definitely take a look at the video because it's a better quality version of the video that I made a video about previously regarding that altercation. So you get to identify a little bit more of what's going on. The ego thoughts and takeaways. For starters, I think possibly Terence Crawford might have thought that if he confronted Teofimo, he was going to tuck his tail and maybe be a different person. But credit to Teofimo, he kind of stood on business and he didn't look like he was trying to scram to get out of there or anything like that. He had the conversation with Terence Crawford. So shout out to him for that. The other thing that comes to play is you got an accomplished fighter in Terence Crawford who just moved up to 54. You got Teofimo, who's a career 140 pounder and 135 pounder. He just, is announcing that he might move up to welterweight, but still hasn't had a fight. I made a video about it. He's in litigation, some kind of litigation with Top Rank. So very interesting stuff because when I look at him, the game is crazy, and I'm always speaking on this, and I seem to be one of the only, if not the only person with a following this size that speaks on these real issues in boxing. And it's crazy that this new generation is, these guys, their walk around weights are crazy. And it might get to the point where we have to do some kind of rehydration clause like the IBF does, or same day weigh-ins or something. Because to be honest, given the fact that Teofimo has been fighting at 140, he didn't really look far off from Terence Crawford's size. It didn't look like dramatically like Crawford was a giant or anything like that. So that's pretty interesting because, again, one guy fights at 54, the other guy came from lightweight and junior welterweight basically, and they look at least comparable. So you're seeing that a lot more where Devin Haney is doing an interview with Andre Ward, who fought at 168, and Devin Haney don't look like crazy small next to Andre Ward. Or Ryan Garcia will take a picture with somebody else in a higher weight class and he don't look like really small. And I'm not just talking about height, or we're talking about like the size of the person, like the shoulder width, the arms, that kind of thing. So that's one of my takeaways. The other thing is, I think what Crawford said kind of looks bad, and I'm gonna explain why. Because I just went over the size differential, even though there wasn't much, but the reality is Teofimo just went the distance with Claggett, and he's a 140-pound guy. We have yet to see how he looks at 147 pounds or above. So the reason why I said it looks kind of bad for Crawford is because he's talking about fight me outside. I mean, you're two millionaire prize fighters in the same game, fight for a living. It's not like one's an accountant and Terence Crawford is a fighter, or one guy is a librarian and Terence Crawford is the boxer. You have two boxers. And why would a pro boxer who is at the level where he's made money in the game, millions of dollars, same with Teofimo, they have, you know, money, why would they be advocating for a street fight? That's just weird. You know, fight me in the streets is weird when you could get paid to do it. So I kind of feel what Teofimo was saying a bit more, because he's like, you know, nah, fight me in the ring. Like, so the world could see it. So the people could see, the world could see a result, right? And here's the thing, because I know a lot of people that listen to the content, they're going to get it. And some people aren't going to get it. The beta males, they're not going to get it. So they're going to be like, oh, but Crawford will destroy Teofimo. So be it, if that's what it is. But all I'm saying is get paid for it. If you guys fight for a living, why are you going to fight where somebody could get stepped on, someone could get hurt, someone could get stomped out? A street fight, Crawford is literally about to be 37. Who's like pushing 40 and is trying to get in street fights, especially when you're a pro fighter? To me, that sounds corny. Make millions by taking your anger out on Teo. Now, do I think the Crawford Teo fight will happen? I don't really think so, but I'm just saying it's better than fighting in the streets for nothing. You know, just this, I don't know. I just feel like that mentality from Crawford is weird. I understand he's from the hood, he's from Omaha and stuff like that, but you're a long ways from that with the amount of money that you've made in the game and who you are. So to settle the score, you know, put them up, that's weird. If anything, turn it into an event. You know, you've seen it with Berlanga. He was trash talking Canelo. They turned it to an event. A lot of people didn't even want to see the Canelo Berlanga fight, but at least Berlanga made himself the heel. He made himself the enemy. So possibly Crawford is a free agent. He's working with Turkey and Riyadh season. Teofimo's in litigation with Top Rank. Who knows where that goes? So possibly, maybe it's possible that they can fight. Do I think Teo would beat Terence Crawford? If I had to take a stab at it, I would say no. I would say Crawford would stop Teofimo Lopez. But that's just my opinion. You still would want to see it. I think Crawford's far more consistent in the ring than Teofimo. And then he just fought Madrimov, and he kind of put his pedal to the metal and things like that in the later rounds. But again, you're seeing an emergence of fighters in lighter divisions trying to pull Crawford's card and call him out. So the last thing I'll say is this, is it's so funny because when you bring up Terence Crawford fighting the guys in lighter divisions like Ryan Garcia and Teofimo, who I just told you, they're kind of big. They're kind of big for their respective divisions, but these guys haven't really competed in the higher weight classes that Crawford has competed in. People say, oh, this is ridiculous. Bud will stomp him. Maybe so. But the people are saying it's ridiculous, but in the same breath, they want to see Bud, who had one competitive fight at 154, move up 14 pounds to fight Canelo at 168. And they supposedly, the Bud buddies, love that fight for Crawford and Canelo at 168, knowing Canelo's the stronger guy, the bigger guy, the more experienced guy, you know, in terms of the big events like Cotto and Triple G and Chavez and Floyd Mayweather. So Canelo is kind of comparable. What's really the difference? What's the difference when Canelo holds all the cards at 168? You want to see Bud move all the way up there, but then you don't want to see these big young fighters that are crazy enough to keep calling out Crawford, like Teo and Ryan. You don't want to see those fights? Sounds a bit weird from boxing and very inconsistent. Me, I'm the king of consistency. I don't care if they lose. If Ryan or Teo gets knocked out by Bud, so be it. This is what they want. But I'm saying these are interesting fights if that's the direction. If Bud is just looking for big fights and he wants the max payout, I mean, based on their brands, maybe they could provide that for him, and that's like a middle ground if you can't get Canelo. Boom.